What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is The Edge of 17. The Edge of 17 is a coming-of-age dramedy film that was directed by Kelly Fremon Craig and primarily follows Hailee Steinfeld's character Nadine. Nadine is a 17-year-old struggling to find her place in the world. She's grown up as an outcast, and she's never felt that anything goes her way or that she really fits in anywhere. What really pushes Nadine over the edge, however, is her best and only friend Krista, played by Lu Richardson, hooking up with and eventually dating Nadine's older brother Darian, played by Blake Jenner, and this causes Nadine to cut off all ties with Krista and eventually spiral downward into the dreaded state of mind known as teenage angst. She lives with her single mother, played by Kyra Sedgwick, and her previously mentioned older brother Darian, who neither of which feel like they understand Nadine and what she's going through, and they just chalk it up to her being difficult and acting out. But in reality, Nadine, struggling to find her identity, lacks any sort of confidence in herself and feels overwhelmed by her deficiencies that she believes led to her supposed isolation. And the rest of the film is spent watching Nadine undergo the teenage maturation process as she attempts to become comfortable in her own skin, make and learn from her mistakes, and ultimately find her identity and place in the world. Okay, so honestly, I hadn't even heard of this movie until like yesterday when I was scanning Rotten Tomatoes and saw it had like a 95%. I was like, what is The Edge of 17? I watched a trailer for it and was like, yeah, that looks kind of cool. Let's go see that. Let me tell you guys, this is not a film that you're gonna want to miss. It really is an awesome movie that has a ton of things going for it. I think the story itself is likely the film's best quality because even though we have a female lead here, a lot of the concepts and situations can apply to pretty much anyone. While this is a story that is pretty small in scale, the point is that the conflict feels large in scale to the characters who are deeply troubled by these issues. And that's something that will hit home with a ton of people whether you're a teenager or not, because I think we can all relate to being pretty preoccupied with ourselves and our own problems and feeling like you're the only one that has them. And even if you can't identify with this sort of mindset at your current age, I can pretty much guarantee you that you could have when you were a teenager. This film hit home for me because of how realistic it felt. Like I said, Nadine has some problems that only women can identify with, but the vast majority of them are relatable to almost anybody who was ever 16 before. I think a lot of people are going to watch this coming of age film and likely sit there and think about how this is a story about their life growing up. It's that relatable. Hell, I don't even mind telling you guys this, but I still experience some of her struggles myself to this very day, and I sure as hell did when I was 16 and didn't know how to handle adversity all that well. This is a rare coming of age film that captures adolescence so perfectly by putting you, the viewer, in the shoes of the struggling characters that are mostly experiencing inner conflict. Age 16 is a very tricky time in life because you're trying to figure out which direction you want to go, you're acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately you're trying to find your identity. So what coming of age films typically attempt to do is bring up that feeling of nostalgia for you, if you can even call it that, because I bet a lot of us wish we could go back in time and talk to our younger self and just say everything's going to be fine. Because when bad things happen to you in your teenage years, you feel like it's the end of the world, and it's not. But these characters don't know that, so you're watching them go through the same trials and tribulations that you likely went through yourself, and that will probably affect you emotionally. But this movie wouldn't be nearly as impactful without the superb acting from a small cast of really well-defined characters. Hailee Steinfeld gave what I believe to be an Oscar-worthy performance as Nadine. I'm not sure if she'll win because I haven't seen her competition yet, but she 100% deserves a nomination at the very least for her work in this one. She was phenomenal. I haven't seen Jackie or a couple other films that will showcase the other contenders yet, but as of this very second, Hailee Steinfeld is my best lead actress for the 2017 Oscars. She displayed a wide range of abilities as an actress because she excelled comically and dramatically and ultimately delivered a really likable and compelling character. Woody Harrelson is also in this film as Mr. Bruner, Nadine's high school history teacher who sort of serves as a sarcastic, wisecracking mentor of sorts. He was actually pretty funny in this one, but the thing I liked most about his character was that he doesn't solve any of Nadine's problems for her. He gives her a slight nudge in the right direction and teaches her the most important lesson of all, that you need to learn how to deal with adversity in a way that works for you specifically, and it's important for you to figure that out yourself. The other four key characters you need to know about are Nadine's brother Darian, played by Blake Jenner, Nadine's mom, played by Kyra Sedgwick, Nadine's best friend Krista, played by Lu Richardson, and Nadine's friend / admirer Erwin, played by Hayden Szeto. All the actors delivered great performances, but I particularly enjoyed Hayden Szeto as Erwin. This is his first big role supposedly, and he knocked it out of the park. I thought he was funny and awkward, and like all the other characters in the film, felt like a real person. This film cranks the immersion scale all the way up to 100 because all the characters feel like people you probably know in real life, or maybe even feel like you, crazily enough. I also thought as a whole, the comedy was very strong. This isn't the kind of film that's going to knock your socks off with how funny it is, but its brand of humor is pretty unfiltered and will likely have you chuckling pretty frequently. The dialogue as a whole is very strong, and this is one hell of a script written by Kelly Fremon Craig. Just like the characters themselves, all the interactions that take place feel incredibly realistic in all their awkwardness and drama. And finally, the cinematography. This is one beautiful looking film that never gets in the way of the story itself. The visuals help tell the story in their own right, but they never try to have some crazy or unusual angle or some oddly composed shot that's trying to be artistic. The cinematography does a beautiful job of giving you close-up of the characters' emotions because they're the focus of the story, as well as shots that give you an idea of the environments that our characters are surrounded by. But overall, I love The Edge of 17, and this is one of the best coming-of-age films I've seen in quite some time, and one of the best films period I've seen this year. I thought it had an incredibly realistic and dramatic story, superb acting and characters, great dialogue and cinematography, and a very funny and unfiltered brand of humor. And there was nothing I didn't like about this film. I'm going to give The Edge of 17 a 10 out of 10 and recommend that anyone over the age of 17 go see this one ASAP. So did you guys see The Edge of 17 yet? What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if not, let me know whether you'd be interested in watching this film or not. And as always, if you like this video, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for much more content like this. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.